Hey friend, what's up? It's me, Devin Marvell, back again with another video. Make sure that you guys start this video up by hitting that thumbs up button for me. And I would also love it if you guys would comment and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much. Today we are talking about Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, Season 4, Episode 3. So the show opens up with Princess and Ray J pulling up to A1 and Lyrica's launch party for their record label. Alexis Sky and her new boo Solo Lucci also pulls up. They've been together for 1 month now. When we step into the party, we see A1. He's on stage performing his debut single, Toot That Whoa Whoa. After A1's riveting performance, we see Ray J and Princess, Alexis, and Solo Lucci. They're all chatting it up. Apparently, Alexis and Princess have gotten really close since Solo and Ray have been cool. As Ray put it, he said they've been bonding. So Ray J and Solo Lucci go off to get their girls drinks. Both girls said that they just want waters. And Alexis is like, Princess, why are you just drinking water? Are you doing a detox or something? And Princess is like, well, I missed my period. And then, you know, they start kind of celebrating a little bit. And Alexis is like, well, are you excited? Because this is what you wanted, right? And Princess is like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. You know, she said if Ray and I had a baby right now, I would be ecstatic. Then Princess says to Alexis, well, why are you drinking water? Alexis says, well, I too missed my period. And, you know, they start celebrating, but Alexis is like, whoa, girl, calm down, chill with that. Hold on now, because, you know, my relationship is still pretty new. We've only been together for 1 month. We haven't even really talked about kids. I'm not ready for a child. And she also said that Solo Lucci has baby mama drama, and who wants to deal with that? And I'm like, these are things that you usually should feel passionate about and check off as, you know, before you date somebody, before you let them in you rob, and, you know, whatever. Anyways. So then we see A1 and Lyrica, and they're just kind of enjoying the party now. And we also see their moms, Pam and Big Lyrica. And Pam's just having a good old time, her good wig. She's just jamming. She's like, hey, twerk it, twerk it, twerk it. Some little dancers. Big Lyrica says that it looks like the real star has been put on the back burner. You know, she's like, what's going on? Talking about her daughter. A1 says it just hasn't been the time for Lyrica's project to come out. You know, timing is everything. And that's not a good enough answer for Big Lyrica. She's like, so it was time for you to come out then, right? And I'm like, well, she's got you there, buddy. And Lyrica steps in and she's like, you know what, my fans are asking, you know, where's the music? What's going on? And A1 just is like, I don't know why Little Lyrica and Big Lyrica are raining on my parade right now. Right now, he says that they need to just ride the wave of his success. A1 tells Lyrica that, you know, we got a couple artists right now. We got Slick, you know, doing his DJ thing. And Lyrica is like, yeah, I love Slick. Slick's real cool. I like Slick. And then he's like, and then I got this female artist, you know. And she's like, hold up, wait. And she starts saying, you know what, we're not going to be signing any females, at least not until my project's done. We're not signing any females right now. So A1 tells Pam and Big Lyrica to, you know, go off and get some drinks or whatever. He hands them both a $100 bill, and they're like, ooh, they go off. And him and Lyrica continue this conversation, and Lyrica's just not having it. She's like, we're not signing any females right now. And she asks him, do you believe in, you know, my project? And he's like, of course I believe in it. A1 tells Lyrica that she sounds jealous in this conversation, and she walks off. Now we see Tierra Marie, who opens up her scene with saying, Hazel can kiss my ass. She says she's not worried about that, and contrary to what Hazel is out here in these streets spreading, she says that her life is actually in a really good place. She says her court case has been dropped. She says that her career is booming, whatever that means. And she also says that, you know, she's got a new man in her life and she's in love. And who is this man, might you ask? It is none other than Sisqó. Yes, Sisqó from Love and Hip Hop New York. And I'm just sitting here thinking, Mona, okay, Mona girl, all right. This is what we going with? Okay, you want us to believe that? Okay. All right, we gonna go with it. We're gonna go with it this time, like we always do. We'll just go with it. Mona feeds us some crazy storyline and we just go along for the ride. So here we go. Tierra and Sisqó are together. Apparently they've been together for a few months now, and, you know, they're so in love with each other. Cisco says that Tiara is different from any girl that he has ever been with, and he really trusts her, even down to letting her see his process of what it takes to get out of bed in the morning. I guess Cisco got stabbed in his spine by somebody, and he suffered a really bad spinal injury, so it's a process for him to get out of the bed in the morning, and he said that he doesn't feel comfortable just letting any girl see that process, but he felt comfortable with Tiara, so he's really feeling her. They're sitting down, they're talking, and you know, Tiara's like, I'm so glad that you're here, and he's like, you know, I'm glad to be here. There was so much drama going on in New York, you know, with my peoples and this, that, and the third, so he's like, you know, it's nice to be here and just relax with you. And Tiara's like, yeah, when I was in New York, it was just the best time. It was just us, cuddle up, and da-da-da, we were doing this and that. So Tiara tells him, you know, I really want you to meet my friends and, you know, like my family, and my friends are like my family, so I really want you to meet them. And Cisco has his reservations at first, you know, he's like, I don't know, I don't think that they're gonna like me. And she's like, why wouldn't they like you? And he says, well, because I don't have, you know, the best reputation. So she's like, well, unless you have bad intentions, they're gonna love you. And he's like, okay, well, did you just get into a fight with one of your friends the other day? And she's like, who, Hazel? You know, she's like, we ain't worry about that. She's not on the list of friends to me. Cisco, you know, he is still a little concerned because he feels that having a reputation as being in the infamous Creep Squad, that reputation precedes him, and that people assume that they know him already when they really don't. So, but he said that he's willing to meet Tiara's friends and see how it goes. Now we are at Safari's coconut oil launch party, and Safari gets up on stage and he thanks everybody for coming out, and then he introduces his special guest, Chanel West Coast, who is performing at the party. She goes up on stage and, you know, she does her thing, performs one of her hit singles. Safari says, you know, he's impressed with her. He wasn't sure about her at first, but after seeing her get naked, he's intrigued. So Chanel says, shout out to my boy Safari for letting me perform. She says that she's excited to see what they can work on and what they can do. I don't know where that storyline is going for either one of them, but we'll see. Meanwhile, Brooke Valentine and Nia Riley decide that they're gonna pull up to the party, right? Because Brooke Valentine knows that Jade's gonna be there, and Jade is the paralegal thought, as she puts it, that's messing around with her man. And again, for the life of me, I cannot understand why Brooke is so pressed about Jade, because Jade does not owe you anything. Jade does not know you. What does she have to do with this? But we'll get there. So they pull up to the party, they go and they sit down in their little corner. They're on social media, I guess, trying to put a face to the people in the crowd to see, you know, if Jade's there or not. And then eventually Brooke Valentine spots out Jade. And Jade's over there kicking it with Chanel West Coast, Safari, and Miss Nikki Baby. So Brooke gets up, Brooke and Nia, they get up and they go over there, they introduce themselves. Oh, I'm Brooke, da-da-da. And, you know, when Jade introduces herself, she's like, oh, you're Jade. Let's have a chat. Well, I'm like, wait, Jade, don't do it. Don't go, girl. It's a trap. It's a trap. Run, girl, run. But anyways, Jade gets up and she goes over there to talk with Brooke and Nia. First of all, I would have been like, well, we can talk, but does your friend gotta be here? Brooke is like, so you're the one over here giving free legal advice. And Jade checks her and is like, no, I'm a paralegal, so I get paid to do what I do. And she's like, okay, well, you know, what kind of legal services do you do? Because, you know, I just want to know. Can you help me understand? And she's like, well, I do trusts and I do wills. And here comes Nia chiming in, talking about, do you do divorces? And I'm like, okay, Nia, that's why you're here, girl. I was wondering why you're here. Go ahead, keep this story moving along. She's like, yeah, I work on divorces too. And Brooke's like, okay, well, you know, whose divorce specifically have you worked on? I hear you going around town telling everybody, you know, so I just want to know too. And Jade, I guess it finally clicks to her and she's like, are you talking about Marcus Black? And Brooke's like, yeah, I'm talking about Marcus Black. So Brooke asks her, you know, what's good with that? What's the situation? And Jade is like, well, you know, I helped him with his divorce so that him and I can move forward. And Brooke's like, nah, homegirl, nah, that's not it. So Nikki chimes in and she's like, Brooke, are you the wife? And she's like, no, I'm not the wife. And she's like, Nikki's like, okay, so what are you? And she's like, I'm everything. I'm the one that's been chatting with his mom. Our kids are getting to know each other, and he's gonna spend the rest of his life with me. And Jade is like, okay, well, how are you gonna speak for a grown man that's not even here? And I'm like, she's got a point. Brooke tells her, well, you're out here running your mouth, and I'm just letting you know that you got the story all wrong, so stop that. And Jade's like, I don't have the story all wrong. You are sitting over here confronting the woman when you need to be having this conversation with your man. And I'm like, yes, that part right there, exactly. Why are you out here confronting her? And Brooke Valentine really doesn't have a good answer or explanation. So she's like, because I chose to, or something like that. She's like, because I chose to come here and I chose to confront you. So then Jade, instead of just leaving it at that, maybe walking away from the situation, you know, what would have been the right and probably good thing to do to end this argument, she decides to take it to the next level. And she decides to kind of, you know, I guess, test Brooke's gangster. So she's like, okay, well, I've known Marcus for 12 years and you're some bitch that just met him. And Brooke is like, okay, you might want to chill on the bitches. I can tell that Brooke, because she is super calm throughout this entire exchange. So I get the feeling that Brooke Valentine is one of those, okay, I'm gonna keep calm until I snap and just kill your ass type of person. And those are the people that you really got to be worried about, because those are the people that will just black out and kill your ass. So I guess at this point, Brooke is tired of the talking, so she's like, okay, so what's up, you gangster? Chanel, who is friends with Jade, she chimes in and she's like, Jade, gangster? Jade's more white than I am. I know that she's half black, but yeah, she's not gangster, I'm gangster. And I'm like, where did you come from? Who are you? Like, what? But then I was pleasantly surprised because Chanel ended up reading Brooke for filth, talking about, and you got that feather in your hand, you walking around here looking like Captain Hook. I was dying because this whole entire time, this whole exchange, from the moment that Brooke walked into the party, I'm sitting here like, why does this girl have a feather in her hand? What is she about to do? Is she gonna tickle Jade to death? What was the goal here with this feather? Did she have a punchline? Did she borrow this from Mama D? Did Mama D give her this feather? And she was like, here, go ahead and say this and put this in her face. Like, I just didn't understand what that accessory had going on. So Brooke looks at Chanel and she's like, okay, so are you guys a team? And Chanel's like, yeah, I ride for mine, da 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 da. Nia is like, you talk so damn much. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay, Nia is actually, she's like low-key, but she is probably one of the people that I can really tolerate on this cast right now. So then Brooke finishes the argument telling Jade, well, thanks for the divorce, your services are no longer needed, thank you, and I pretty much walks off, and that's the end of that. So Moniece goes to meet up with A$AP Rock Bottom and Nia. And at this point, I'm like, Nia deserves an award for Best Supporting Cast Member already, because she has been in these scenes, being the friend, helping things move along, carrying these storylines on her back. So I'm like, shout out to Nia, y'all. Let's give a round of applause for Nia Riley. So they're all chatting it up, and A$AP Rock Bottom is telling the girls about his encounter. He said that he went to go meet up Alexa Sky. And they're like, what? Why would you even go meet up with her? You know that's Masika's enemy, and she threw a bag and a drink at you. Like, what business could you possibly have with her? So he's trying to explain his side. They're really not trying to hear it. They don't really care about Alexis like that. So he moves on and he says, well, you know, I went to go meet up with Masika to tell her about my meetup with Alexis, but I couldn't even get the word Alexis out before she was storming off and calling me all kinds of bitches. And I was like, duh. Because that's what happened. Like, loyalty, bro. Like, that's what the name of the game is. Why would she want to sit there? You know how she feels about this girl. She's already made it very, very clear that she does not want to talk about this girl, and yet you keep trying to force this upon her. Like, yeah, I would have been pissed too. So we move on from that, and Nia says, did you guys get the dinner invite from Tiara for us all to, you know, meet up with her and have dinner with her new boo Cisco? And they're like, yeah, I got it. And Nia's like, well, you know, I just hope that he's helping her, that he knows about her problems. Talking about Tiara's drinking, and she's like, I hope that, you know, he can help her out with that. And I just really hate that everybody talks about Tiara's drinking problem, if she even does have a problem. They talk about it behind her back. I don't know. I just don't like the way that they talk about it. Like, I feel like there's a way to talk about it, and I kind of feel like her friends are just using it as something for them to have it as a storyline. So I'm not feeling the way that Love and Hip Hop is handling this whole Tierra is an alcoholic story. Moniece says, you know, I think that parts of Sisqó are good. She says that when Tierra was in New York, that he was helping her not to drink. She said that Tierra said she didn't have a drink the whole time she was there. She says that Sisqó, you know, was helping her work out and helping her with her music stuff. So she says that there is some good to Sisqó, but she still has her reservations because back when she was with the Rich Dollars, Sisqó called Moniece a bitch, I guess, and talking to Rich about her. So she said that she's willing to get over that. Nia says that, yes, let's just go in there, no judgment, let's all be supportive and see how the night goes. Alexis Sky goes to meet up with her boo Solo Lucci, I guess, to talk about their relationship. And she asked him straight up, she's like, you know, what do you think about me? And he's like, what do you mean? And she was like, what do you think about me as a person? And he was like, you know, I think you're an awesome person and people don't know that about you. I feel like they just see, you know, big titties and a big ass and, you know, that's all they see with you. So she's like, oh, and then she drops the bomb, tells him that, well, my period is late. And at first it seems like he is a little taken aback by it, shocked. We don't know what his reaction is gonna be, but surprisingly, he's like, yeah, that's great, that's good news. And she's like, that's good news? And he's like, yeah, we would make some pretty babies. And I'm like, oh, yes, that's exactly why we should be bringing a baby into this world. Yes, because it would be pretty. And Alexis says, well, you know what? Before we could ever even think about having a child, you need to get your baggage in check. She lets him know that, you know, well, I guess one of his exes, one of his baby mamas or whatever, has been super disrespectful to her, especially on social media. And she's not having that because social media is how she makes her coin. So she says that's interfering and she can't be having that. So she tells him that he needs to check that situation. He says, well, what do you want me to do about it? You know, you my main girl, I rep you on social media and all that good stuff. And she's like, you just need to get that situation in check. So they start going back and forth, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. So then we see Hazel E in the studio with Ray J, who we remember lost the bet last week for his sperm count being so low. He had to go into the studio with Hazel E. His homeboy Safari is there to support. And they both say that, you know, even though this started off as a joke, surprisingly, Hazel E actually is doing quite a good job. And Ray J says that he's gonna take this seriously, even though it started out as a joke, and that she's, you know, helping him do that because she's not half bad. So Sisqó shows up to the studio. Hazel comes out the booth and, you know, she introduces herself to Sisqó. She thanks Ray and all that good stuff. And she says to Safari, you know, when are we gonna work together? When are we gonna do something? And Safari says, you know, right now I'm working with Chanel West Coast, but, you know, I would love for you to help me with that vision. And she's like, yeah, whatever you need, I got you. So she goes off to take a call from her lawyers because she's running a corporation, as she put it. She is so damn delusional. Her name should be Hazel D. D for delusional. But anyways, so she goes off and Ray J's like, so Sisqó, what brings you to LA? And he lets them know, well, I've been kind of seeing Tierra Marie. And they're like, what? You've been seeing Tierra? And he's like, yeah, I've been seeing Tierra. So Ray J's like, you know what, Tierra's a good girl. It just didn't work out between the two of us. And I'm like, that's dope. That's a good way, you know, that's great. That's good. Leave it at that. Don't say anymore. But of course he does. And he says that Tierra just needs somebody to save her. And I'm like, ugh, gross. Sisqó's like, I know that they think that Tierra just needs somebody to save her, but I don't think that of her. And I'm like, that's what's up. A1 says the starting a record label is super hard work, and I'm like, duh. So he hit up his boy Marcus Black so that they could kick it and, you know, unwind. They go to this like cigar shop or whatever, and they're just chilling. And in walks Brooke, and A1 is like, okay, well, that's my cue to leave, because obviously homegirl is pissed. She excuses A1. She's like, you know, I need to talk to Marcus. And she just goes right ahead into it. As soon as A1 leaves, she's like, where is your little paralegal thought? Where's your little paralegal bitch? Where's she at? Where's she at, Marcus? Where's she at? So he's like, I don't know where she's at. You want me to know exactly where she's at this very moment? She's like, well, get her up here. Get her up here, Marcus. Get her up here. So he's like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna get her up here. So he calls Jade and I guess tells her, you know, come to meet him wherever he's at. She comes, and again, I'm like, Jade, no, girl, it's a trap. It's a trap. So she comes to meet with Marcus, and she has no idea what she's walking into. Brooke comes out the shadows the night, like the dark night. She tells Marcus, okay, let her know who I am and what we got going on, and go ahead and end this. So Marcus, sure enough, I don't know what spell Marcus has, what spell Brooke has over Marcus, but he sure enough caved and was like, look, so, you know, me and you, we weren't really official like that, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't really this, that, the third. And Jade, she's a little shocked. She's like, okay, blink if you're being held hostage, like if she's making you say this, just being funny or whatever, but seriously, homeboy must be whooped, because I don't think anybody is gonna sit here and make me tell anybody anything. But sure enough, he did, and he told Jade, you know, so me and you never really had anything, and you know, this is my girl, pretty much. And Jade was like, you know what, okay, whatever, you can have that. And she leaves, and then Marcus tries to cozy up to Brooke, and she's like, nah, don't touch me. He's like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, we're done. And he's like, we're done? Why did you go through all that? She was like, because I just wanted to see y'all break up. I just wanted to know that it was for sure. And I was like, ooh, you petty girl. That is super duper petty. So yeah, so right now Brooke and Marcus are done, which is gonna open up some room for Mr. Booby, as we can see in the previews for next week. So, like, we didn't see that one coming, but I don't know. Do you guys think this is the end of Marcus and Brooke for good? So then we see Princess, who is taking a pregnancy test because, like she said earlier, she missed her period. And she's super excited, and she's hoping that the outcome will be a positive one. But unfortunately, the test came up negative, and she's super sad about that. So she goes to talk to Ray about it, and she lets him know, I just took a pregnancy test, but it came out negative. And she starts crying because she just really wants this baby. And, you know, Ray, instead of being honest and telling her, well, you know what, I could be the problem here, he just reassures her that, you know, they'll be all right. They will have a baby. No matter what they got to go through to get it, they will have a child. And I thought that was a really sweet scene. I just wish that he would just be upfront and honest with her and say, hey, so I have a low sperm count, and that could be why we're not having a baby. Yeah, but that's just not the case, unfortunately. So, but good luck to them. I hope that they end up figuring it out. There was rumors going around recently that she is pregnant, but she said that maybe I need to go take a pregnancy test because all these people are saying I'm pregnant. So that could be her denying it, or maybe she just doesn't want us to know until the reunion. You know how these hip hop folks do, y'all. So then we see A1 in the studio with Lyrica. She's in the booth recording her song. He stops and says that he has to go take a meeting, and she's like, well, who? And he's like, you know, with the female artist that I was telling you about. And she's like, but we already said that we weren't going to take on any female artists right now, at least not until my project's done. And he's like, I know, but I already had this meeting scheduled. I already had this before that conversation. So he's like, you know, I'll be back. So he goes. It turns out the artist is this girl named Ashley Gold, who is the sister of rapper Ty Dolla $ign, who A1's cool with. So he sits down with Ashley and her manager, Donatella, who I became obsessed with just in that little appearance, because she just has this, I don't know, like, she has this face and she has that accent, and I just was like, I'm kind of obsessed with you, and I wish you had your own show. Like, I want to know more about Donatella. So they sit down, they're talking, and A1's like, you know what, I think you're dope, and I know you, and I would really like to sign you, but I can't. And they're confused because they're like, what do you mean you can't? That doesn't even sound right. Like, if you want to sign us, then, you know, sign me. So he's like, I'm gonna go get my wife so that she can tell you why we can't sign you. So he goes and he grabs Lyrica, he sits Lyrica down, and he's like, so my wife is gonna tell you why I can't sign you. Lyrica feeling ambushed, which she was, I'll give her that. But she's like, you know, this is a situation, we already talked about it, we already said that we weren't going to be signing any other females right now, and that's just, you know, it just kind of is what it is, sorry about it. And Ashley and Donatella, they are like, okay, this feels awkward, it feels like we're kind of in the middle of y'all's marriage, you know, business situation. And Donatella says, you know, maybe we should talk about this another time, because he's saying one thing, saying that he's interested, and you're saying another thing, and this is just not what we have been hearing from him. So at this point, I guess Lyrica is just pissed. So she snaps on Donatella and she says, look, I said it wasn't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Da -da 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 -da. And she just starts snapping, going off. So Donatella and Ashley are like, you know what, that's our cue to leave. So they get up, they exit stage left, and A1 is embarrassed and he's like, wow, you were mad rude to them. And Lyrica says, you should have told me what the situation was before just kind of ambushing me into it. Then homegirl decides that she's gonna throw water on him because he looks thirsty. And I'm like, girl, this is your husband. I know this is reality television, but at the end of the day, this is your husband. You don't disrespect him like that. Like, that's really messed up. So Nia, Moniece, and ASAP Rock Bottom are at dinner with Tierra Marie and Cisco, and it seems like things are off to an all right start. Nia is like, so you know that she has a drinking problem. Are you doing anything to help that? And he says, yeah, I am. And Moniece says, you know, I was seeing this whole new thing of Tierra when she was in New York, this new side of her, but now I'm seeing the old Tierra. She's drinking again, as we can see, and she looks like she's had one too many already. So after Nia and Cisco's conversation, Cisco's like, well, it's funny because Moniece is the one that had the biggest problem with me here at this table. And Moniece lets him know, like, yeah, that's because you called me a bitch when I was with Rich. And, you know, I understand that was like a bromance gone wrong. And I was just kind of like a pawn in that whole situation. And ASAP Rock Bottom chimes in and is like, you can't even take responsibility for that because Cisco was up there crying about that. So Cisco's like, I wasn't crying. And I think Tierra was like, yeah, he wasn't crying. And Zell was like, oh, well, plenty of times. And Cisco's like, plenty of times what? And this, we could see where this is going. So Tierra is like, calm down, babe, calm down. So Nia and Moniece are trying to calm the situation, and ASAP Rock Bottom is like, I'll say whatever I want. And Cisco's like, you know what? And he just decides that he's gonna get up and leave the situation. And I'm like, yes, that's grown man stuff right there, progress. So he gets up and he leaves before he has to smack somebody. And he goes out, he's waiting on his cab. Tierra's upset with her friends. They're trying to comfort her and say that they have her best interest at heart and all that good stuff, but Tierra's over it. She has an emotional breakdown because she's drunk. And then she goes out to see what's going on with Cisco. She talks to Cisco. Cisco's like, you know, that's crazy in there. I'm not with all that. And she's, you know, just letting him know, like, you haven't even really met my friends. I really want you to be my friend. She's really not making any type of sense because, again, she's drunk. And Cisco's like, you know what, I have a cab coming. You can either leave with me or you can go back in there with them. That's your choice right now. Giving her an ultimatum. And I was like, ew, girl, just leave him. But of course, she chooses him and they, you know, go off into the night together. Tierra stumbling over herself because, again, she drunk. So we'll see what happens next week when we pick back up. So what did you guys think about this episode? I thought it was a nice little episode. Love and Hip Hop Hollywood is probably gearing up to be my favorite of the franchise so far because it's not as fake as the other ones. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What did you guys think about this episode? So let's talk about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys for watching. Make sure that you guys follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stairway to Devin. That is DEVEN. And thanks for being a friend.